Life of Luxury is a YouTube channel with over 9 million subscribers. On the channel, hosts Parker and Chester investigate the concerns in the homes of those that email them for help in their series, Strange Encounters. In these independent films, what usually happens is they rock up to the person's house with their cameras at night, they get some context of the situation, the paranormal ensues, they're usually either nonchalant about it or understandably freaked out, and then they leave when things get too crazy, all while Chester never takes his glasses off. What is he hiding under there? Obviously, this is a very rough summary of their surprisingly very well made videos, and as we can see, they have plenty of these on their channel spanning years with lots and lots of entities within them. Apparently, they used to make other types of videos that aren't on their channel anymore, and you can kind of see remnants of this still there. That's not the focus of this video, the ones with the entities are. I recently saw 2 videos by MrUnnerving on how you cannot survive the entities within Life of Luxury. And oh my god, the memories of these videos came rushing back to me. I haven't seen them all, but I've seen enough of them and I really like them. I'm sure you've seen some of them too, and I realized that my channel is full of videos on beating, surviving, and not surviving analog horror entities, so it was just a no-brainer to make this video on the Life of Luxury entities you can definitely beat and survive. Shoutouts to MrUnnerving for inspiring this video. You should totally check out his ones if you haven't already, and if this video interests you enough, you should check out Life of Luxury's channel and videos as well. I'll have everyone's channels and videos linked in the description. What a way to start the new year, am I right? So we'll be going through a bunch that I think you can definitely survive and beat, and then I'll rank them on a scale from least to most powerful against each other. You know, the usual. So with all of that being said, let's dive into the Life of Luxury entities you can definitely beat and survive. If we're gonna start anywhere, I think we need to start at Life of Luxury's most popular video, Her Son Can't Stop Growing at Night. Now, MrUnnerving did cover this one too. I'm not covering it and any other ones he did to shit on his conclusions, it's just because I think you could beat them. And in this case, come on, how could I not talk about Tommy? He's the big entity for the Her Son Can't Stop Growing at Night video, and I didn't know this until now, but he appears in another video too, which I'll cover very soon. The video starts off with a mother named Candace reaching out to the boys via email telling them that her son's been acting strangely and not like himself. He's even been growing at night. Before everything goes to hell, we get some background knowledge on Tommy. Tommy ran into the woods after his father Michael had passed away. 3 days later, he apparently came back through the family house window and hasn't been the same since. So this might not be the real Tommy. As we can see, Tommy, or whatever this is, wears a mask to cover his face, has long, thin strands of hair on his head, and wears black. As things escalate throughout the video and the boys try to reason with Tommy, we get to really see his rage and the sheer size of his limbs that grow at night. We also see that he's been feeding on his mother, Candace, and drinking her cerebral spinal fluid using his tongue as a straw of sorts. I'm getting some weird flashbacks to the movie The Substance. Maybe we can draw some conclusions from those comparisons. Either way, whatever this Tommy entity is, feeds off of Candace, is a bit of a freak and has a temper, but is limited in his mobility due to the insane length of his limbs, that is, when they're grown. Just taking a step back for a minute, the limbs have a certain charm to them, don't they? Honestly, all of the horror in these videos do. You can tell that love, care, and passion went into them. Anyway, Tommy has a deceptive amount of strength and durability too, as seen when ramming the side of his head into a door, breaking doors, and doing whatever this is with his neck. Which makes me wonder why it grows its limbs in the first place. To me, all of that would disadvantage it because look at how sluggish it moves. Sure, it can cover a large amount of room and has more of an animalistic threat to it, but it would be a much larger threat if it could stand and move well on 2 legs. It would be like something akin to SCP-096, would it not? Plus, it feeds at night when Candace is sleeping, and I don't think that's a coincidence as it can do this without its victim screaming, as well as obviously defending themselves or running away and getting help. Don't get me wrong though, Tommy is clearly not defenseless and is very strong and frightening, but how much of that is just appearance versus what he can physically do? In the follow-up video, Her Son Can't Stop Growing at Night 2, Parker and Chester return to Candace's to find that all of this feeding has left Candace sickly and her sister Doris is there to tend to her. Things haven't gotten better for anyone here other than, of course, Tommy, who looks to be as strong as ever, climbing through windows and smashing around the house, and leaving Doris as an empty husk. She went from fine to deceased in what might be tens of seconds or a couple minutes. It makes me wonder why Tommy didn't just do this to its mother in the first place, but he does say at the start of the video that he wants to wear his mother's skin. So maybe he's just prolonging things and having a bunch of sadistic fun? Who knows, but I think this is what he does with the remains of the human victims, indicated by what he said about wanting to wear his mother's skin, by the mask he wore in the first video, maybe by the state of Doris by the end, and this bucket of barely alive skin? This thing is hands down one of the biggest enigmas in both videos. It's shown, it speaks, and then it's never elaborated on, it's just left there. But it does make me wonder if this is going to be the fate of Doris. Maybe all Tommy needs to do is put her husk in some sort of special liquid, or any kind of liquid like water, and then this will happen to her. After all, do you really want to wear flaky skin? May as well just keep it moisturized, right? Does that make sense? Anyway, if you were Parker and Chester and you had the green light from Candace to eliminate Tommy, you have a lot you can do. For starters, why on earth would you ever consider sleeping at this place with Tommy skulking around? The boys do it like it's nothing. Screw that. The best thing to do would be to realize that the situation is more than you signed up for and call the police. But I do see a problem with that. If Tommy is spooked, who knows what he'll do and who knows where he'll escape off to. The best place to assume would be the woods, and that's the last place you'd want him running off to. So if any law enforcement were to be called in, they need to approach things silently. Even then, Candace is so protective of her son that if she saw anyone trying to cause him harm, she would cause quite the fuss. She'd be a physical problem if this were to happen in the first episode, but she's so debilitated in the second that all she could do is scream at most. And even then, how loud is that scream gonna be if she can barely move? And you know what? Shame on her sister as well. Why didn't she take her out of the house? Like, she's clearly being killed by Tommy and she just leaves him? No one called the police? No one thought to do anything? It took Chester and Parker to rock up twice for anything to happen? And even then, everything that does happen is still a negative, so I think I'm thinking too hard about this. But that's what we do here on this channel. This is what we're doing in this video. We're gonna survive and beat this. So regardless if you're the one going in to stop Tommy or other people are, one thing is for certain, his limbs need to be blown off. Dead Space teaches you this right at the start of the game, and it makes so much sense as to why. Cut off their limbs. That's also why I say that Tommy's growing limbs are his biggest weakness. We've seen how they grow, but not really how they shrink. But we can safely assume that they shrink in a similar time to how they grow. And Tommy seems pretty immobile while this is happening, so that's more than enough time to blow off his limbs before he tries to shorten them, or while he's shortening them, even while he's growing them. Lull him into a false sense of security that he can do any of these. After all, they're just such a huge target on his body. Getting close to do so would be a risky move since Tommy's tongue can inject itself into your spine, so protecting your spine would be a good idea, but that doesn't stop him from stabbing you with his tongue on other parts of your body like your face, etc. And it doesn't stop him from biting you or swatting at you either. We've seen how physically strong it is, so a blow from it would throw you against a wall or to the floor, shattering some bones. That makes distance your best friend here. I'm talking shotguns, spears, garden hedge trimmers? You could even continuously throw things at him. The world is your oyster. What's he going to do? Pick them up and throw them back at you with his elongated limbs? Or even his weird, like, crab claw hands? Even doing something like baiting him into feeding on someone may be a little bit risky, but I think it would pay off. Just watch out for his shorter limbed, human-like form. Can we even call it a human form? I guess, yeah, human-like is the right word for it. Either way, if you want to survive Tommy, the best thing to do is keep distance between you and him. Range is your best friend, and so are other people more equipped to take on the task of putting Tommy down. Don't fall for his tricks either, and if you can do all of that, you won't end up like his mother who gets taken away into the woods by Tommy to never be seen again.
Where is he?
Is this like normal behavior for him? Or do you think like maybe he's just like messing around with you or mad at you?
Now, our next entity is Kent. Found in the video, there's something wrong with her brother. Annabelle, a young woman, reaches out to Parker and Chester about her brother Kent. Annabelle shares an apartment with him and Kent went on a work trip. When he came back, he wasn't the same. Strange behavior like not talking, smiling creepily at Annabelle, and keeping to himself in his room or the bathroom is what he did, and continues to do. Apparently, he's even been heard talking to someone Annabelle hasn't seen, and the boys capture that on camera. Kent claims that, quote, "She doesn't know I'm not him yet." This can't be Annabelle's brother Kent then, right? Whatever this is has also let in a creature or something that lives in the closet. So I think this is a good time to point out that there are theories on these entities and the relations between each encounter. I haven't really looked into them, but as we can see, both Candace's and Annabelle's stories are similar. One of their loved ones leaves for a reason, and when they come back, they're completely different as people and cause havoc for everyone living in the house. It makes me wonder if Tommy's mask in the first video we looked at was actually the real Tommy's face. Assuming that, of course, this isn't Tommy anymore. Or maybe, plot twist, this is Tommy's father and he's wearing Tommy's face. Getting back on track, we see Kent have an outburst. And he really does look a lot like Tommy. The thin, long hair, the demonic facial features, and the animalistic behavior is all there. There's definitely something going on here, but Kent seems to be weaker than Tommy in terms of stature, and he couldn't break through Annabelle's door, or maybe he didn't want to. Either way, the boys escape with Annabelle, and now she's living with her parents. This video is on the shorter side, and not much of what Kent can do and what the closet entity is shown. What we do know is that Kent is some sort of weird goober-like creature, and you don't even need to get creative in how you want to take him out. Granted, going in for close combat may be risky seeing as we don't have too much info on what Kent can do and he seems to be very unpredictable. Regardless, he doesn't seem to have any special traits, strengths, or durability of sorts, or anything noteworthy about his appearance other than his messed up face. That's why I think there's 1001 ways to pretty much just take him out. Anything you can think of, you should be able to do. Parker and Chester also show us how to survive Kent, which is to just do the obvious and walk out of the house. So was Kent intimidated by the boys? Did the entity in the closet tell Kent to let everyone go? That wouldn't really make sense in the grand scheme of things now, would it? Either way, we don't know what it is, so eliminating it would be a dice roll. But much safer if you say burn the whole house down or go by safety in numbers. Kent or the closet entity could escape seeing as they appear to be smart enough to scheme, but watching for activity around the outside of the house or keeping visibility high and doing this in the day could really help. Regardless, that's that.
Let's go!
Where do you think he went?
I have no idea, dude. Belle, you cannot stay there tonight. We gotta find some place for you to stay.
You know how amazing my daddy is? He says I'm the best girl in the world.
Now let's move on to something much bigger, Chloe and her dad, which is a pretty scary tale. Parker and Chester arrive at the house of Chloe and her dad, Gabriel. We get the usual spiel here. Her father's been acting strange, isolating himself in his room or the home's basement. He suffers from debilitating and crippling unemployment and he's coming to terms with the fact that the family dog ran away. Keep that in mind. He's also been snooping around and interacting with people on an online forum called Slice and Splice. There's an overarching theory that this forum is owned by the Men's Enhancement Club. This is referenced in the video it was hiding in the closet, as the antagonist of that video, Eugene, had joined it to become this. Oh, what an enhancement. This club would explain all of the antagonists going on a trip or being away for a few days before returning as monsters, and the fact they all look so similar. Perhaps their enhancements leave them as sickly looking entities before their enhancements truly shine or truly kick in, or maybe the enhancements that are promised are all just lies and this is the end result. Maybe the thing in the closet is part of the club. What's up with the forest that's mentioned in multiple videos too? It's all food for thought. Anyway, Chloe's dad, he gives me the creeps. He has the usual appearance that we're used to by now, but his presence in the house is really felt. He's punctual and looms around the claustrophobic corridors of the house, kind of like something out of Outlast. Even when Parker and Chester are snooping around, it feels like Gabriel is going to just appear behind them and snap. After all, he loves his daughter, maybe a bit too much as he's clearly making her sick, but for what? Somehow and for some reason, Parker and Chester stay the night. Look, listen, in case it's not obvious, this would be the best way to not survive or beat this situation. You'd become a victim in a heartbeat. But for some reason, Gabriel is so focused on his daughter, and then he takes her to the basement. During the climax, Gabriel transforms her into some sort of human-dog hybrid, and that's where Gabriel missing his dog comes into the story. Also on a side note, but for some reason, Chester's side of the bed gets real wet. Like, he presses his hand into that, and it squelches everywhere. I don't know what is up with that. I've watched the video multiple times, I've skimmed through it. If I've missed why it's wet, that's my bad, but to me, it's just a complete mystery, and I assume to everyone else. Perhaps Parker was just pissing on his side of the bed and then making Chester sleep in it. Who knows? Anyway, the boys are chased out of the house, and then they find themselves in that recurring forest, or at least it looks like it. I don't know what it is about these entities, but they just love to intensely focus on their plans and leave Parker and Chester alone. If you were in this situation, the same might happen to you until it's your turn to be experimented on. You may not be part of Gabriel's family, but I'm sure you'd be on the chopping block. So again, the best way to survive is to not stay at the house and call the police. Chloe's feelings be damned. She'd still be a human and in better health if Parker and Chester did that earlier. In these videos, it seems that Chester is usually the one to say that the two should leave and Parker is the one that wants to stay for whatever reason. Anyway, the boys stay, they sleep at the house. Chester had to sleep in the wet patch while Chloe was being transformed. Okay, to survive, don't be turned into something like this, and please, for the love of God, don't sleep in the wet patch either. If you need to handle things on your own as well, keep your distance or have a blunt weapon or a sharp one in hand ready to go, since that'll turn the tides of the fight. Gabriel is a big guy, but it doesn't look like he can really hold anything effectively with those scrunched up hands. But he was able to do this to his daughter, and that requires a lot of surgery, so... Actually, scratch that. Stay away from his hands, but you know what's strange? Despite what those hands can do, Parker somehow escapes his grasp and makes it downstairs, slowly and calmly. He has no signs of struggle on his body, so Gabriel can't be that much of a threat, can he? There's gotta be an explanation for it. However, he is seen briefly expanding his limbs, so he might have decent control over that supernatural power. Either way, the fear is in the appearance of his enhancements. Looking past that, he is just another goober. Just as a small tidbit as well, but the actress who played Chloe was Amanda Jean. Apparently, figuring out who these actors and actresses are has been difficult for people to do. She had a TikTok account under the @CheeseMom, but sadly passed away recently on September 14th, 2025. Next up is Sarah and her husband, Andy, aka Scratchy the Clown. Things start off like they always do. Parker and Chester get an email from a discerned person, they rock up to the household in question, but this time, they're met with Scratchy the Clown outside before they meet Sarah and enter the house. Chester spots him despite his low visibility with his sunglasses on. I understand that he has a torch, but how is he seeing anything anyway? I mean, why the boys choose to come at an unreasonable hour of the night is beyond me, in a realistic sense, of course. And this is Scratchy's wife, Sarah. What? Is she that bad to live with? He has a wife, a beautiful home, and a roof over his head, and he chose to become this? Even Parker looks like he's about to laugh at the situation too. I'm sure they cut that as soon as he started laughing. Anyway, this is Andy, without the clown getup, of course. He snaps at Sarah and then the monitoring begins. But my god, he is onto Parker and Chester from the get-go, spotting their cameras and staring into them for like tens of minutes straight. It's a little goofy, and we see Sarah sleeping next to Andy too. And then we see Andy get into his Scratchy the Clown outfit in the guest room. He puts on a wig that has long and thin hair strands on it. We've seen that appearance on all of the entities so far, so where do we draw the line on what is part of a costume and what is the real appearance? Or is this just a one-off wig? Perhaps Andy hasn't enhanced himself enough yet. It does make me wonder what would have happened here if Parker and Chester slept in the house, since they're always in the guest room. Instead, they fell asleep in their cars. Chester, of course, sleeps in his glasses and something bad happens. Scratchy has kidnapped Sarah and forced her to record a video in clown makeup. She says that she's fine and doesn't want anyone to come and find her. Obviously, she's not fine. She looks to be very scared and I think is looking at her husband, and she's obviously saying a rehearsed speech. This all brings up a very good question. How did he kidnap her at 1:51 AM, sit her down, put clown makeup on her, record her video, develop the tapes for it, and leave one on the bedroom bed and ship one to Sarah's family in around, say, 30 minutes? The one that was sent to the family may have taken days, but am I missing something in the timeline? Is the supernatural coming into play here? Now Andy doesn't look to be anything special compared to what we've seen. His getup seems to be a costume only, as when we do see him normally, he's just a big dude. I think it's safe to say that he's not hiding any special powers. It begs the question I previously asked, but is he just really early into his enhancements? Who knows, but what I can confidently say is that we can apply everything we've already applied to other entities here too with less risk. Parker and Chester could have absolutely bodied Andy in front of Sarah and they would have come out on top. Let's just be real about it. If anything, Andy would be the one in danger if you get the jump on him. If he pulls out a gun, maybe things might get hairy, but ultimately, the safer and more sensible option in this scenario would have been to call the police. That would be the best way to survive and beat Andy, aka Scratchy the Clown. The boys have evidence of mental degradation, and you could make an argument for controlling and abusive behavior. Get this fucking beast arrested, and perhaps he might squeal about all of the weird and scary entities that keep cropping up. Lastly, we have the Dolphin Man. This video, Dolphin Man found in her house, is one of the older ones on the Life of Luxury channel, right next to... what? It's right next to this 18-year-old girl is dating a 68-year-old man and trying to escape bathtub full of olive oil challenge. Hey, whoa, wait a minute, that's vegetable oil. What are you guys doing?
Alright guys, so after long, the question is answered. It is pretty easy to get out of the bath, even if it's filled with oil.
No, challenge failed. Do it, oil yourselves up again. Well, no, hold on, that's not what I meant. No, wait. So this is Bernice, and she's claiming that something is living in one of her parents' multiple houses. So the boys get to work and drive down to the place at night. Even though the daylight would help with visibility in the house, or if anything goes wrong, they go at night like always. And just before they're about to leave after not finding anything, this guy, oh my god, this guy appears.
Yo, what's that, dude, yo, get out! Yo.
I'm going to lose my mind. What is this? What are we doing here? Those noises and some freeze frames from the video are just just too funny. Anyway, so Parker and Chester escape the house. They show Bernice the footage. She's horrified, obviously, and they send the footage to the police. What? They do what now? They send it to the police? You're telling me this whole time they've been smart enough and understood that they should just call the police in these situations. I know that some investigations happen after everything has gone to shit, but they handled the situation so well. I'm asking too many questions. And with that, well, I don't know what to tell you that I haven't already said. We don't really get to see what the Dolphin Man can do other than leg it towards the boys, so I think the bigger mystery is, who painted the Dolphin Man? How else would he have gotten that paint all over his body? You know, those hard to reach places. Or maybe it isn't paint and he really is some messed up Dolphin Man. In this series, something like that is entirely possible. But why would someone do this to themselves? Dolphins need to be in water to regulate their body temperature because if they're on land for too long, they begin to overheat because of their blubber and they dehydrate out of water. So is the Dolphin Man feeling any of these effects? Does he have any other dolphin traits? Hopefully not that really dark and disturbing one. Anyway, just overheat the Dolphin Man by pointing a hairdryer at him or something like that. And don't get bit by him either because a dolphin's teeth and bite is designed to grip onto its prey. So it can be comparable to something like, say, a dog's bite.
Let's go! What was that?
And now we're at the part of the video where we rank each entity on a scale from least to most powerful because why not? I've been doing this for my other videos, so let's do it here too. First up, as the least powerful, I'm going to put Scratchy the Clown, with my biggest reason for doing so being that he's the least most messed up out of them all, somehow. He doesn't exactly display any supernatural powers, and he looks like he's one push away from breaking his hip. And then we have the Dolphin Man, which we just looked at. Ultimately, he's the most transformed out of all of the entities in terms of looks, but his enhancements are so lackluster. He's just a weird Dolphin Man. If he ever becomes a full dolphin, I don't know. Good for him, I guess. Next up is Kent and whatever is in his closet. He is a bit of an animalistic threat, but he got a bit too excited and scared away his victim, who's now safe as far as we know. We don't know what his plans were or who was in the closet either. Maybe this is a master and his lackey type of situation? Either way, the mysteries filled within the episode land Kent and the closet right here. Following this is Chloe and her dad. Her dad, Gabriel, drugged her and surgically turned her into some sort of dog-human hybrid. This guy's an absolute freak, but he's done something that modern science hasn't been able to do. Well, assuming her dog legs work, that is. He has to have some high degree of intelligence, doesn't he? Perhaps that's his enhancement or the evil that he pursues. Any more time in that house and Parker and Chester could have become victims of this experimentation. And that leaves us with Tommy as our most powerful entity in this video. He is physically strong and durable, as seen by his ability to bash down solid doors with his scrawny bare hands and slam his head into those doors with no repercussions. He can also feed on people's cerebrospinal fluid using his tongue. He does this and leaves his auntie a dead husk within minutes and slowly feeds on his mother over months before taking her away into the woods. Those damned woods. Whatever the reasoning for these entities, whether that be the woods, the enhancement club, etc., I think Parker and Chester have created a pretty interesting series of videos and a world full of mystery within them. Their independent film series, Strange Encounters, is quite the gem on YouTube. I'd highly recommend that you all check it out. I'll have the channel and videos we looked at in this video linked in the description. I'll also have their other channel, Luxury Dark, linked down there too, full of dark web mystery videos and oh my god, the glasses are off! And that's been the video. Thanks for watching. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it and want to see more? Let me know in the comments section down below. If you want to see me cover more of these entities as well, I'd be more than happy to. I really enjoy these videos, so covering them would be a treat. Like, subscribe, and check out my YouTube members and Patreon for cool perks like having your name in the start and end credits of the video, etc. And as always, we can't forget the shout out to my lovely patrons and YouTube members, and a big shout out to the highest tier Patreon members, Joel Matthew Colgrove and La Creatura. Shout outs to our highest YouTube member too, Hammer Brother 13. Thank you all for your continued contributions, and thank you to everyone else too. You guys are absolute legends. Stay tuned for more videos like this. Relevant links will be in the description if you want to further look into them, and I'll catch ya in the next one.